So as everybody knows, there are some excellent things about living in Japan. It can be a fantastic experience, lots of culture and stuff like that. But today I'm going to tell you the absolute best and absolute worst thing about living in Japan that doesn't really have much to do with Japan at all. So I was thinking about this last week. Japan is an excellent place. There's a lot to do. Culturally, there's a lot to eat. Culinarily, say that 3 times fast. And there's a lot to do just all over the place. Public transportation is fantastic. The roads, not so great, but you can get around it if you have a car or you want to use a car or want to rent a car. It's possible to navigate and get where you're going. There are lots and lots of festivals to see. There's all kinds of cultural stuff. But today what I'm going to talk about is nothing that's actually related to Japan specifically. But the best thing, the greatest thing about living here and the worst thing about living here that doesn't have that much to do with actually being here. What does that mean? Well, it means the access to your home culture, whether it's the US, Canada, Mexico, Europe, doesn't really matter. You're a little bit farther away from it than you think. And so you don't see everything that's on the news every day. You don't see everything that's in the newspapers every day. You get the highlights from what's on the internet and what media you do follow from here. And what you do get from like Japanese news and stuff like that is a little different. So for example, on NHK, the build-up for the Rio Olympics has been really big, and everybody's very excited about it, and there really hasn't been much mention of the problems that Brazil's maybe facing. So sometimes access to current popular culture is really, really limited, and that can be fantastic. It can be the greatest thing about living in Japan. For example, I know of the Kardashians. I could maybe name 3, maybe 2. I don't know, Bruce Jenner count or Caitlyn Jenner, or does that count? I don't know. So if so, then I can name 3. Other than that, This came to me when the whole thing with the Kanye and Taylor Swift was going on, and it occurred to me that it has absolutely no bearing on my life, which is the greatest thing about living in Japan. It's fantastic. But the worst thing about living in Japan is kind of in the same ballpark. You miss a lot of movies and television shows that are fantastic, but you just have never heard of. It is a little bit like living under a rock. Some pop culture references just completely miss you entirely. And with the delays for some popular culture stuff, it can be really frustrating. And as everybody maybe knows from last year's videos or earlier this year's videos, I really, really, really wanted to see The Martian on the day that it came out, and it was 6 months late here. Whereas The Avengers and Captain America Civil War, I believe, was same day or before the US, which is more uncommon. There's a lot of movies that just don't make it here. So it's a trade-off. Some of the greatest stuff is you don't have to see the nightly news, and current gossip kind of brushes right by you. It's great. But one of the worst things is some of the pop stuff that you might be interested in, television shows, music, movies, you're always a little bit behind when you're living here. And the longer you've stayed here, like me, the more stuff you miss, and it's okay. I don't mind it. And with that, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.